Hello, beautiful souls. I hope you've been following along in my trauma series. If not, go back and on my videos, they're labeled Let's Talk Trauma. Lots of good information there. And I also want you to think about something that I talk a lot about into my mentor when I mentor people, or even in my Divine Collective, about we discount our trauma because typically we are very kind and compassionate people, and we will discount our trauma because our trauma isn't as bad as our neighbor's trauma, or at least that's what we say to ourselves. And that's where we start this trauma comparison. And it keeps us from properly processing our traumas. And let's say you've looked back over your life and you didn't really have any of the big traumas that you can see neighbors have had or your friend has, but you've had these little traumas happening in your life that you just kept discounting because they weren't as bad as your friends. So what happens? I want you to think of these little T's, these little traumas, as little cuts on your arm. You have 3 or 4, even 10 little cuts, not a big deal. If you start getting 50, 75, 100 little cuts, then it's going to be a big deal. And that's how those little T's can accumulate. They just keep piling up until we start choking on them. And that's how one day something that you wouldn't think would normally set you off has just put you over the edge. And it doesn't even have to be anything that happened to you. You can get trauma from watching the news all the time. And if you are on TikTok or watching the news, there are some things that we see that we would never normally be exposed to, and they just take space in our brain. And when we start reliving those memories that we've accumulated from watching TV or watching a graphic video on TikTok, our body doesn't know the difference, and it will respond in a traumatic manner. Please have grace and compassion for yourself and know that you are worth the work it takes to get to a higher state of you, a higher vibration. How do you get to a higher vibration? By peeling back the layers of trauma, even the trauma that you didn't realize you had. How do you do that? You do that from reading books, educating yourself, finding a good therapist, or finding your own tribe. Friends, I always call it talk therapy with my friends. So find some people you really care about. Research ways, known ways to help release trauma, tapping, hypnotherapy, MDR. I have something called the Divine Collective, where every month we meet and we do readings. We do have a learning associated with spirituality. We also have a learning associated with trauma. And then we have an ongoing chat where we can offer each other support along that journey. And I want you to think about a beautiful thought. Not only do hurt people, healed people heal people. Along your healing journey, you can be a bright light for others.